What the stuck? What the stuck? You know, sometimes I feel stuck. I could either feel like I'm in the rat race of life, or I may feel I hit a brick wall or I hit a plateau. You know, to tie that into my fitness journey, today is day, I think, 383, but if you're not familiar, I've been running every single day, just 1 mile. I'm down now about 55, 56 pounds. Sometimes I feel like I'm in the rat race, constantly moving, or sometimes I feel like I'm just plateauing and I'm not going anywhere. I'm a teacher, not a speaker, y'all. I'm gonna talk about the first law of motion. Nope, not the first law of motion, the first law of emotion. What the law states, the first law of motion, if we were talking about science, right? It's also known as the law of inertia. And what is inertia? It's the tendency of an object to resist a change in its motion, which means if an object is stuck, it's going to remain stuck unless something happens, unless there's an outside or unbalanced force. Or if an object is moving, if we're in that rat race, we're gonna stay in that rat race unless we're acted on by an outside or unbalanced force. If you think about a space shuttle, right, traveling into outer space, once it leaves our atmosphere and there's like little to no air, it's moving in a vacuum. It's an area, once again, without air, so there's no resistance. A space shuttle in outer space could turn off its engines, and guess what? It's just gonna keep moving in that same speed, in that same direction, in the rat race of space, bars, unless it's acted on by an outside force, which could be gravity, it could get hit by a comet, it could be almost anything, but it's that outside unbalanced force. Sometimes people, we just feel stuck. You know, when you feel stuck, like, what is the cause of it? Why do we feel stuck? Sometimes we just lost hope. You know, we look at we fear the future and we just lose hope. Sometimes we compare ourselves to others. You know, I like to say comparison is a thief of joy, especially getting on social media. It seems like everybody's winning. Everybody got a nice, you know, a nice wife or a nice husband or the perfect kids or job or on vacation every Tuesday. You know, sometimes we're outside of our comfort zone. Sometimes our positives and our negatives, they're in competition. You know, sometimes we've just outgrown our situation. Sometimes it's just judgment. It's a judgment of others. And so many times we act like we don't care what other people think or say about us. But oftentimes that's not true. Sometimes we don't like change simply because we think we're gonna lose something. Even me, I'm on this fitness journey. Maybe I'm on the rat race right now, going on 400 days of running every day. And I've actually said this week, I don't want to miss a day. Why? Because I'm afraid I might fall off. I'm going to lose my momentum, right? And I spoke about that in the past. I'm not going to get too deep on momentum and impetus, but I need that impetus to keep going. So there's different reasons why we feel stuck. Why we feel like, when I mean stuck, that doesn't mean that we're staying in one spot. When I mean stuck, we could be stuck meaning we can be in one spot, we're plateauing, or we could be stuck in that rat race where we just keep moving. So how do we get unstuck? How do we get unstuck? What? The stuck, right? Sometimes we need to identify what you want. What is success for you? Like, what is my success? You know, it's not always financial, you know, but what is success for you? What do you want? Do we need to put it on some Post-it notes? Do we need to create a vision board? You need to identify what it is that you want. I have a note in my iPhone with about 300 things that I want. It's not going to all happen now, but I mean, it goes the span over years, and I occasionally read over that list. What is it that I want? Sometimes we need to change our perspective. Our situation may not change, but our perspective about that situation can change. You may be thinking, hey, I'm only getting paid this amount of money. Or I'm only receiving this, this, or this. You got to flip it. You could say, hey, maybe I'm getting paid this amount of money, but I'm learning these skills. I'm sharpening my tools. You know, I'm in this relationship, you know, whatever it is. Now, I don't want y'all in no bad, toxic relationships. I'm not talking about that. But we just got to look at whatever situation we're in, and we got to change our perspective. When the pandemic hit, I was saying I'm trapped in the house. I had to change my perspective and say, no, I'm safe in the house with my family. You know, changing that perspective. Sometimes we got to move. I feel I'm doing that, and that's what helped me. But when I mean move, I'm not talking about some mental. In this specific case, you got to move. Get up, go for a walk, get some vitamin D from the sun, you know, get some fresh air. You know, you may not have to run or sprint, but, you know, move, get some cardio, get some exercise, do some yoga, do some stretches. You know, we need to move. Sometimes we gotta set a date and break. So set a date, like give your issues or your whatever you're stressed with, give it a timeline, give it a deadline, and take your mind off of it, unplug. Sometimes you just gotta walk away from that situation and just think about it. Focus on what you're currently dealing with. You know, we don't want to create anxiety and other things like that. All right, so set a date and break, you know, get away. And we need to avoid the analysis paralysis, getting stuck. You know what I mean? Whether we're in the rat race or whether we're plateauing. And how do we change that? You know, small steps. I've mentioned atomic habits, right? That's part of the reason I'm doing these videos. I wanted to change fitness-wise, you know, my actual physique, right? I started small, a mile a day. I didn't say I'm gonna go to the gym for 4 hours a day and eat carrots and you know what I mean, and drink vegetable broth or something, or the lemonade diet. I started small, 1 mile a day. And that's how we progress many times, taking small steps. We're avoiding that analysis paralysis so we don't get stuck. What the stuck? Hey, the first law of motion states an object at rest stays at rest. An object in motion stays in motion unless acted on by an outside or an unbalanced force. Remember, I'm a teacher, not a speaker. Let's not stay stuck at that plateau, or let's not stay stuck in that rat race. Let's get unstuck and let's have an amazing day.